welcome to Tiny Toys episode 10.
We're here once more.
We've gotten to 10. Tonight I've got my lovely wife Erica to talk about OBR. This was our second army, or I guess your second army, right?
Yeah.
After Seraphon. And then obviously I've got my wonderful co-host, as always, Camaron.
Yes, I am here. I'm amazing, and I'm here to
Mr. Death himself. Tonight should be
To
fun.
argue with everyone and
Yep.
be right.
Yep. Tonight should be fun. OBR is definitely one of my favorite armies. Definitely my favorite Death army. And I'm pretty excited about the changes. So.
This was my fourth army.
Ever?
Yeah, fourth army ever, because I went Night Hunt, Flesh Eaters, Soulblight, and then Ossiarch.
Just all Death, huh? What was your?
Technically, it was Legion of Nagash, but.
What was your second Grand Alliance that you went?
Order Sylvaneth.
Sylvaneth? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, so let's just go through what's everyone up to, any news that we want to go over. I am continuing to crank on these Zinch. I'm doing the Acolytes right now. I've got 40 of them to build. So working through that. And also just continuing to prepare for a GT coming up soon. So that is what I'm up to. Cameron, let's go to you. What are you up to?
I have fallen down the hellscape that is known as non-stop playing Total War. And that's what I've been doing. Non-stop.
Give us your, I'm sure everyone who's watching this at this point in time, give us your 30,000 foot view of Chaos Taurus. Good? Not good?
I absolutely love them. Their shotgun, their blunderbuss units shred things like it's no tomorrow, and it's hilarious to watch things charge into them. However, they are not for everyone.
Do you know of the YouTuber Okoi?
Nope, not at all.
He makes Total War Warhammer videos, but he makes meme builds for him, and he has like one of the best editing skills I've seen on a YouTuber, and he does a whole spiel on like this last one. It was the mortars. He took
they have these. They're like mortars, except they're mortars on steroids that have been inbred to be bigger, and they're like that, and they're amazing. Deathquake, I think they're called.
What he did was, I got it. He did 361 Dreadquakes. Dreadquake mortars.
No, that's madness.
And it was
destroy everything.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious. He does all kinds of stuff like that. He did one with Nurglings. I think Erica saw bits and pieces of that one. Where he just did just buffed up Nurglings just all over the place, and it was hilarious. It was great. But anyway, all right, moving on to Erica. What are you up to? You got some games in. Yeah, you got rocks. You also got a game in.
Yeah, I'm working on terrain. Finished basing, just doing some stuff on the to-do list, little things here and there. And then yeah. The big debate right now is OBR Seraphon. So stay tuned for.
Yeah, some big choices.
Week.
Well, the answer is OBR, but you can go ahead and think what you want.
I guess a lot of people
OBR army is gorgeous, but Seraphon, no one has touched Seraphon with a paintbrush but me in our household. So that's a little. Well, no, because it's not done yet. So there's the problem.
If you're gonna use Croak, you better start getting on it.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
To be determined.
All right. So obviously, the topic tonight is I think it's pronounced Ossiarch Bonereapers. I always mispronounce it, but I think that's how you pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure that's the correct saying. I like
Yes.
Ossiarch.
I know. I think it's Ossiarch Bonereapers. I think that's how you pronounce it.
You know what helps?
Are they coming?
OBR, we're good.
Sure.
Done.
So that's the discussion tonight. We'll just go straight into the tier list. Again, I do this on all of the shows just so people kind of see how we tier this. Please keep in mind the tiering is obviously subjective. I get called out a ton on it. So your results may vary. So definitely just know that's subjective. We also don't do like a deep dive review on the book. We're not going to go through every war scroll or anything like that. Like if you want to do that, definitely go check out any of the other reviewers. They're great. Warhammer Weekly, Season of War does some. Honest Wargamer, like there's so many good reviewers out there. I can't recommend them enough. So if you want like a full review, definitely go check them out. We're just going to give you kind of an overview of what we like and what we don't like. So.
Yep, and our not like is going to be going ahead and saying, yeah, we don't like it, not worth it. Next.
Yeah. Or calling me out because I like something and I shouldn't.
Or him saying he doesn't like something and then me telling him he's wrong.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of that, I'm sure. Although this book is pretty, I think we're going to be, I think we'll be pretty aligned on this book, but we'll see. All right, so I'll get into the overview and then I'll get your guys' take. I think this is an A to high B tier army depending on skill level. I don't think it's going to go 5-0 a whole lot, but I think it's doable. Definitely more so now than it was. Finally, we've done it, people. We've gotten there. No more RDP. We have gotten rid of the horrible mechanic that was RDP. We can actually now play in the 3rd edition play space and use command points. Thank the Lord. I think that change alone is going to make this book so much better.
I can redeploy.
Yes, for real. Redeploy, all the defense, all the attack, all that. We can actually do that now.
Does it feel like we've graduated to the big boy playground?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I put on my big boy bony pants and I'm there's no leaks in me. I'm ready to go.
Plays very much as an elite death army. There's many elite war scrolls in this. I think it might even be a bad thing, and I'll get to that in the summary. But they're like this plays and feels like an elite death army, which is how it should be. Because of the many choices I said that this isn't a very new friendly army, and I say that because there are a lot of choices to be made during the game in this book. There are a ton of command points. There's a command point table that you have to figure out. You have all of the command points on the Warscrolls. I think there's going to be many choices to be made here, which is good, but I don't know if it's necessarily a new player-friendly army. So just keep that.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is not a new player-friendly. There's so many things you have to remember.
Correct.
That are just not even on Warscrolls. It's just in the book.
Yep.
Now, if you've seen an earlier episode where we're talking about tips, tricks, and things that will help in terms of resources, AOS reminders.
Boom. Nailed it. Yep.
But I don't think they're updated for OBR yet, so
No,
we're still waiting.
Yep.
Wait like 2 weeks.
It takes too long.
2 weeks might. I don't know. We'll see. And then lastly, this is mostly Spike with some Johnny and some Timmy. I think there's a little bit of Timmy in here, just from like the Catacrows and stuff like that. But for the most part, this is going to be a Spike army. You're going to see lists that are meta, and I think people are going to chase those. And I think just with the nature of how many War Scrolls there are in this book, there aren't many. So I think you're gonna find yourself. It's mostly a Spike playing army, right? So I do think there's some Johnny in here that like some different things that you might be able to combo here and there, but for the most part, this is gonna be a meta searching Spike army, I think.
You know, every single time we go through these reviews, you always go through the Spike, Johnny, Timmy. and I can never remember what any of those mean.
So yeah,
I'll go. Nod and smile.
Yeah, 100%. So these are obviously player. What are they called? Player. I've watched
player metaphors.
Well, sure, whatever. It came from Magic the Gathering, right? It's basically how people like to play their army, right? So I'll just go through these real quick. We won't spend a whole lot of time on them. But Temi is going to be like your big monster mash, in your face. You know, a good Temi army is orcs, right? Like smashing right in your face, high damage, crazy rolls, that type of thing. Johnny is going to be more of like the combo lists, making different Warscrolls work that you're not really prepared for. Like Camaron, you'd be a very Johnny type player, and then Spike is kind of like is cares about winning meta lists. Basically, you know, not randomizing rules. Like Spike is definitely not Skaven. Like Skaven, that would be a terrible army to play for Spike because they want to be consistent and they want to win. Like that's what Spike's all
about. All right. You know.
Perfect.
I
yeah,
see it.
It's a good little. I probably spent way too much time explaining it, but that's what Broken Bristles put in there is exactly what it is. So.
Next time I ask, I'm going to be like, all right, give me a 1-sentence summary.
Boom. I like it. Broken Bristles, that's where it's at. That's how I have to remember it. That's good. So anyway, so we'll move on. What do your guys' take? Let me get your guys' take on this. Is there anything I missed? Anything else that we want to go over as far as an overview?
Yeah, I'm ready to get in.
All right. I like when I nail it. All right. Let's go straight into it. Let's go through the battle traits. All these battle traits are fantastic. It's what makes this army so much more elite now. The ranks by Unbroken by Descent, that's the Battle Shock. We don't take Battle Shock, which is fantastic because as we move further and further into this game, more things require, you know, Battle Shock tests and losing a bunch of models that way. So the fact that we just don't even take this, it's not even a thing for us, is fantastic. Definitely an A+.
I think just ignore part of the game. Yeah. Oh, there's an entire phase that we ignore now.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Completely just disregard it. Is this the only book that doesn't take Battle Shock? I know Seraphon had something.
Seraphon you had Bravery 10. Like that's the closest we have.
Sure.
Just Bravery 10.
Sure.
But you can still fail Battle Shocks.
Right.
These guys just say no.
Yep, they just say no. Just absolutely just disregard. Deathless Warriors. This is the 6-up board. Just automatic. There's no more range restrictions. No more having to have a Hekatos or anything like that. Just 6-up board.
Sweet, beautiful.
Yep.
Cover girl.
Perfect. I'm not necessarily a fan of the 6-up board, but I mean, it's glad that we just get it.
We've already gone over this. You can be wrong.
I know. 6-up board is still good, but I just never roll 6s, but it's fine. Next is Not a Right Weapons. This is crazy that this is just holistic now. It used to be only certain units that got this, but now it's army-wide.
Everyone gets it, and it's so beautiful.
Yes. So
I don't have to look at scrolls to be able to. Does this one have it? No. Does this one have it? No.
Just get
everything has it.
Everything has it. So this is exploding 6s on hits. So absolutely fantastic.
Yes, but only hits for melee.
Correct.
And no mounts.
And
correct. Yes. I don't know if I would. I guess S- is fine.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so
I'd
good.
still give it an A+.
Well, me and Camaron are saying it's S-.
You can go ahead and join your husband, and you can be wrong.
Yeah. This is fantastic. This is an absolute fantastic.
Only for one reason only. Catacross now has this ability, and that scares me.
Yeah, it's so good. We'll get into Catacross. He's my boy. All right, so next, Relentless Discipline. So This is no longer getting the points. These random, real bad, overly.
All right, so the relentless discipline points, they had one good thing about them, and
You had a
that was
ton of them.
and that was to play a game inside the game of how many points can I get and spend and still have excess points.
Yes, yeah.
I think I got to 14 once. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's crazy. So no longer will that be the case. Now we get the relentless discipline. Now just gives you command points at the beginning of the hero phase. Now the good thing about this, I think this is super flavorful for when you think about it. As your elite army goes down, the less command points you get, and I think that's very thematic for this army, and I really do like that concept. You do get a lot of command points. Go ahead.
It reminds me of the disease points that you get for Nurgle, but you're getting command points out of it.
And you get a lot of them. That being said,
you get command points like they're disease points.
Sure, but these command points you are going to go through very quickly. Like you do feel like you get a lot of them at the beginning of the turn, but these things will go real quick because you use so many of them.
I'm almost at the point. It's like, all right, it's cool. Like you can get +3 command points at the first turn if you have a full army. That's good, but man, I'm almost at the point. It's like, man, that's not actually enough.
Yeah, you're going to be going through these quite a bit, and as you lose units, you're gonna feel it, and it's like every unit is going to matter because you want these command points. So I think fantastic. I think that's an A+ in this book. I think it's very thematic and it's good. And then last is the Ossiarch commands, and these are fantastic. There might be like one or two of them that I may not use a whole lot, but the rest of them are just slam dunks.
Like this is, in my opinion, like this is like an S+ because it just gives your entire army like 7 more universal abilities that also break the game, also break one of the rules because you can actually use these multiple times in one turn, unlike normal ones.
Yes. Yep. As long you still have the downside of it can only receive or issue once, right? It can't do multiple commands, but you can still use the same one for multiple units.
It's so good.
Yes, it's so good. You want to give multiple units +1 to rend? You got it. The Counter-Strike one, fantastic. I mean, there's just so many of these. Some of these are good. Now, so one of the things I did put on here, and we'll talk about it more at the end, but I've already seen multiple people say that this is potentially going to slow down this army quite a bit. I think with the amount of choices you have to make and the amount of commands that are there, I do feel like this army is going to play a lot slower than it used to, because there's a lot of things that you have to think about and prepare for by using these commands, because there's a lot of them, right? So I think at first when you get into this army, it will play a lot slower than what you may anticipate.
Yeah, and that's one of those things of a new. This is not new player friendly.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, I was seeing people take this in tournaments and only getting to like an hour and 30 minutes, and then being like, "Oh man, or getting to 2.5 hours and being out of time, and they're only like in round like 3." So definitely, you want to make sure you know this real well, and you want to prep what you're doing as the game goes, because this will slow down your army quite a bit. All right. Anything else on that? Anything else on the battle traits? These are all fantastic.
All of them are good. So good.
All right, let's go on. Let's move on. Command traits. So there's only one table. There's no requirements here. It's just any of the heroes can take these. I marked this as an A+. These are all really good. Actually, I said most of these are extremely good. The two that I called out was the diversionary tactics. Diversionary
tactics.
Diversionary?
Yeah. Yes, it's that one. This is insane. This is by miles my favorite one. Subtract 3
100%.
from charge rolls that attempt to charge within 12 inches as general. Oh, and we're going to get to something where we can do not just -3, we can get to -6 on this if we want to. And we'll get to that later, but boy, this is fantastic. And then my other call out was Dark Acolyte, which was the automatic spell can't be unbound because it's really good. So those are my 2 call outs, but I mean you could tell me any of these and I'd be okay with it. Like that tactics one though is it's money, man. That thing is so good.
Diversionated tactics. Just someone went up 3 inches from me. All right, I'm gonna redeploy because I have a crap ton of command points.
Oh my gosh.
We'll say
now you need boxcars.
We'll go ahead and do 3 inches, a medium roll. All right, I'm 6 inches away from you. Now you need to roll a natural 9 or higher.
I mean, even think about, okay, you're within 3 inches of me. Well, now you need to roll a 6. Like, that's just, it's just so good.
And it's this massive 12-inch aura. It's just,
so good.
Oh, man.
So good.
It's so good.
We're going to get this thing to -6, though. And it's going to be fantastic.
Well, and the other nice thing with this, too, is it doesn't have to be charging this particular unit.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, you can screen it, and it's still within the aura, and then it still takes longer to get in.
Yeah. Yep. It's fantastic. It's definitely slam dunk. Crazy good.
I'm going to be taking that almost 100% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so good. I just don't know when you wouldn't take it.
Everything's good, but that one's just...
Yeah. All of these are real good. Like, even the ignore negative modifiers to save rolls for attacks and targets general, that's good, right? Like, there's...
Yeah. Put that on a liege, and now you have a liege with a 3-up save the entire time.
Yep. And it only
it's
ignores
one
negative. It only ignores negative. So you can go to a 2-up.
Yep, good luck killing me.
And good luck killing me. Like, oh, it's so good. This, I wish we could take multiple command traits. Too good.
The only reason why that one isn't S tier is because the best thing we could put on is a leash.
Yes. Yeah, fair point. All right, cool. Anything else on command traits? Anything else you want to call out, Erica? Any of these ones you wanted? No? Okay. All right. Artifacts. Okay, this is where we kind of go a little bit downhill here. I think the artifacts for the just the heroes are good. I think the Morrison ones are real bad. I think one of them will be used probably more than any of the other ones, but my call out for the hero ones was the Helm of Tyranny, which was the Inspiring Presence can't do Inspiring Presence, and you add D3 to anything that runs for Battle Shark. That's okay. That's all right. There's other ways to do that in this army. So, I mean, sure, it's another way to do it, but it's okay.
Like, the problem with them is, like, they're all decent. However, they're all, the best thing you can put it on is a leash. And so, like, there's the +1 ward. Well, like, that's really good. But the best thing to put it on is a leash.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're okay. I mean, and again, these are all okay. Like there's only 3 of them, right? You only get, or 4 of them. And they're all decent. They're okay, but nothing game breaking.
You could make a liege that could possibly get a 4-up ward with a command point, and then also like a 2-up unrendable save. Yep. You can make a liege nigh unkillable, but it's just a liege. Like, they're good, but they're not.
He didn't get a glow up in damage. He's okay. He's just okay. In fact, I think it went down in damage, if I remember correctly. And then Treasures of the Mortisans, the Mortisan ones. The only one that I think people are going to take is the Cartouche, which is on the Ossifactor, which is the +1 to wound bubble for him. That is one of the downsides with this army. The wound is pretty high in some of the units, so you need to make sure that you account for that. If you get any debuffs to wounds, it's going to really hurt this army. So that's why I say that one's going to be one that's taken a lot. And then I think Artisan Key was another one.
One of the problems with the Treasures of the Mortisans is that they're linked to a specific unit. So you basically, in order to pick the one that you want out of that list, you're picking the model you're going to use. It's not like you have this hero and then you get to pick from that list for the Mortisans. it's like you get this, you get this. There are no choices. So where there's a lot of choices in other places, with this, they're like you get what you get.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Just always go with the rugs of the Empire. That's all you need.
Yep.
These ones are.
And yes, let's not. That is true. The Counter-Strike is definitely good for that +1 to wound. There might be a case where you are unable to use that, so you just gotta just keep your options open to make sure you get that +1 to wound. But yeah, cool. Anything else on these?
Okay. I'm going to be taking the special. If I'm going to be taking artifact for one of these guys, I'm just going to be taking one of the universal ones, like the Tusk Helm and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep.
As part of this
also
GP.
good. Yep. 100%. I always forget putting the general ones on here, but yeah, that's a good point.
What? Put a Tusk Helm on one of these really, really not that scary casters, and then be more tutorial, and then charge with them.
Yeah. Although I don't know if I'm getting my caster into combat, but we'll see. All right. Let's go to spell lores. These are all pretty good. Most of these stayed relatively the same. I didn't see a whole lot of differences in these. Obviously protection under gas changed a little bit. I think Mortal Contract stayed the same. Drain Vitality, I think, stayed the same. My favorite is Soul Release, which was the casting on a 5. This one's fantastic. This is the one where you can't... No one can set up summoned units or reserve units. They have to set them outside 12 inches and not within 9 for this, which is...
The problem is that I don't think I would take it just because that's very, very niche.
It is.
You're like, it's going to be useful for some armies, but for a lot of armies, it's not.
I just think there's a lot of armies that have summoned units or reserves drops. Like, I just think there's a lot of that still happening. So,
are you going to use your one chosen spell to be able to get a spell that works for 50% of armies?
And it doesn't work against teleport anything. So if a unit's already on the table and it's not a reserve unit and you're teleporting it, I mean, I feel like that is happening a good chunk of the time when somebody's just plopping things down. Like, I'm 100%. Thinking of me playing with Shadow Stalkers. Like, this wouldn't apply.
Yeah. So no, only affects 25% of armies.
Sure.
And only other death armies, pretty much.
The reason I say that I like it is because that's a downside with this army, right? Is you don't have a whole lot of units, and most of your units are going to be forward. They're not going to be behind. So you're really negatively impacted by things that get in the back of your line. So that's the only reason.
So you just need to screen well. I don't know if it's worth taking Soul Release for it.
You don't have units to screen though. Like there's just not. You don't have many units in this army. They're so expensive. Oh no, I'm with you guys. I'm totally with you. I see the downside of Soul Release because it does only work on certain armies. That being said, most of the time you're taking Archon, who knows the whole lore, so you don't have to worry about it. And you can use it at your whim. Or there's a lot of 2-casters, like Vokmorshin or who's the other 2-caster?
I'm not going to be taking this as my chosen one, but if it gets it for free, it's good.
Sure.
The one that I would take is either Drain Vitality or Empower Netherite Weapons, just because 5 up hit twice on Catacross.
Yep.
It's pretty nice.
100%. Yeah, those are real good. I just thought I guess I've seen myself getting screwed so many times in the back from reserve units or some units that I took Soul Release, but 100%, these are all decent.
You just need to take your favorite spellcaster, Archon.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm going to take Archon anyway because I think he's good now. Great. All right, anything else on these guys? Rip Protection of Nagash. No more shenanigans with that spell, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. All right. Subfactions. All right. Let me just start with the worst one. And it's the one that I really was hoping we would get something that was better. Because I have 25 Death Riders. And Ossiarch Bonereapers is so terrible. It's so bad. We will never see this. It's such a disappointment. I was really hoping that would get something better, especially with the command points that you have now. Bad. Just Stalag Lords is just bad. Just so bad, and I hate everything about it.
Because it's just a reroll for mounted. Reroll charges for mounted.
Yeah.
Which
you
like
can get with pretty much using your command points anyway.
Right.
like it's good. It's something free, but compared to everything
why would you choose a subfaction that has that when you already have tools in your tool belt that you can use during the game to give you the same thing?
The one difference.
I'm using my command points for other things.
Well, that and the one difference between what you're saying, Erica, is so keep note that while your units can get multiple same commands, when it comes to the general commands, they cannot get you can only use that once, right? That's only a once per phase type
Only
deal.
one redeploy, only
so you're
one
only gonna
reroll
get
charge.
Yeah, you're only gonna get one redeploy or one reroll charge versus Stalag Lords where your whole army has it. But even then, it's still bad. We can move on. It's
compared to everything else, it's bad.
It's real bad. And then so the three that we're gonna see quite a bit, I think is obviously Mortis Praetorians, Petrifex Elite, and I think we're actually gonna see Crematorians quite a bit too, and heavy Mortec, heavy unit size type armies.
Mortec Guardless with Gothazars, I can see Praetorium.
Yep, because you're just anything that dies that's a 5-up and it does a mortal win back. It's fantastic, and you just keep reoccurring those units, and it's fantastic.
Favorite by far is Mortis Praetorian. It's always been my favorite. Oh, I love it.
And it's fantastic. The anti-charge mechanic is fantastic. There's so many ways to use it. I think it's great.
It's so easy to get Catacross into what I want him to get into now.
Yep. Or anything, right? Petrifex Elite is good. It's the -1 to damage on
I'm
specific
so
units.
happy what they did with Petrifex Elite.
Yeah.
Because it's always been the one that everybody's taken.
Yep.
And they still made it good, but now it's not an auto pick.
Yep. And then I also said Ivory. Null Myriad. I want Null Myriad so bad, especially in the meta that is right now, but
I was brought off it because you have to be next to heroes, if I remember correctly.
No. I think it's no. So Null Myriad.
If you're
you have to be within
9
inches of a Mortis or friendly Argon.
That makes it worse for me.
So not only is it situational, but
yeah, I don't know if I want to gamble based on who I'm playing.
Fair. No, that's fair. That makes it a lot worse for me. That sucks. Ivory Host, I actually think we'll see.
I love Ivory Host so much.
I think this is pretty good because you get +1 to your not a right weapon attacks. So if you hit a 6, now remember that doesn't work on a 5. If you do empower not a right weapon,
I believe you have to be wounded first that turn.
Yes, if it was allocated, but still, you roll a 6 to hit. Now you're getting 3 instead of 2.
The hard part is you need to be hit that turn, and so you can't you can't just charge into and hope for all the stuff.
Correct.
It's a good counter attack, but not an alpha strike attack.
Correct, I agree, but I do think we'll see some Ivory Host lists. I think that there are some of those. I think
that being said, if you do,
I'm still going Praetorians.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Praetorian. If you do, you can actually use the damned terrain to be able to take that damage onto yourself, then immediately heal it, and then go in and have that.
Does that count as being hit?
No, you have to be wounded.
You need to take damage that sometime that turn. It's not getting hit. It's just you need to be damaged. And I just got damaged by a piece of rock.
Can you do that with Burning Head?
If it hits you, then yeah.
Yeah, so you could do it with Burning Head. That'd be a cheeky way to do it. So yeah, what you could do is you could do Burning Head, and then you can do. Let me make sure I have this right.
Problem is Burning Head damaged you after the hero phase, so you wouldn't be able to heal yourself.
Not true. Reconnect construct.
Without spending a command point.
Sure, but if you have it.
Fair enough.
I mean,
If
that's
you're
the way to do
getting
it.
a whole bunch of extra command points.
I mean, I think that's a
Yeah.
move. I think that's a move. Burning Head into a unit, wound it, heal it back up.
It's a very tricksy
It is.
move. It works, but I don't think it's that.
Sure.
powerful
It's gimmicky, right? But it's something you could do. Definitely something you could do. I might play around with that. Yeah, interesting. Cool. Any other discussion on subfactions? Anything else you guys want to go over?
No myriads. Don't like it.
I got a crematorians list later. All right. Spoiler alert: it's not very good. But it's very meaty. All right. So let's move on. Okay, grand strategies. These are not very good. These are okay. There's maybe one of these that I may take, but these are not very good. I'm probably taking anything else in the GHB. The only one that I put was textbook conquest. At the end of the battle, you control all of objectives on the battlefield. That's like maybe the only one I would do, but like these are all real bad. I don't know if I'd take any of these.
So I think the best one out of all these is scales balanced.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's
Especially
the one.
if you're running a whole bunch of units of horses.
You guys
Spoiler
think this
alert.
is good though?
Yeah, whole bunch of horses, a whole bunch of small unit of horses, because you have so much healing. That means that if one unit survives, you can just get this.
No.
And if
They
you
have
have
to.
one unit roaming around the board, you have to have the same number of models as they had at the start of the battle. It doesn't have to be the same models. Like so your unit is intact.
Right. If you started with 10 Death Riders, you need to end with 10 Death Riders.
Yeah, so you start with 5 Death Riders.
I don't think this is good.
5.
I do not think this is good.
Run them around the board, keep them
You
away from
have
damage.
ways of bringing 2+ models back every single one of your turns.
Until they die. If
Alright,
your Bone Shaper dies, then and you don't have that, like
But it says if any, you don't have to choose which one. So if you're running multiple units,
I
just have to have.
I guess. Maybe in context, maybe it's a lot better. I don't know. That being said, I'm still not taking it. I'm taking
taking it.
You take
I
it.
did take it.
I'm taking any of the other ones
It's in my list.
in the GHB. I don't like this. I don't like that one. I understand the reason behind it, but I just you kill one Mortec guard, one wound to that Mortec guard, and you've lost that at the very end of the game, right?
Which is why you use it with Death Riders.
Sure. Just don't take
And then
Mortec guard.
And then you have 5 units of Death Riders.
Sure. If that's the list that you want to take, then yes, sure. That's not the list I want to take. All right. Anyway, anything else on this list? I think these are all pretty bad.
They're meh.
Yeah. They're meh. They're not like the other books. There's not some slam dunk ones like there were in the other previous books. So. All right, moving on. These were also very meh. 3 of them were decent. I did Trample the Defiant as my favorite. This is good if you keep the unit alive. This one...
That's like the easiest one to do out of all of them.
Correct, I agree. Just for context, complete the battle tactic if you made a charge move in that turn and is within 3 inches of any enemy units at the end of this turn. So the 2 things that you need to make sure happen is you don't die and you don't kill them. Right? I guess charge within 3 inches of enemy. Yeah, so you can't kill them and you can't die. So easy one depending on what army you have or what unit you're charging with, but it's okay. I think it's the only decent one in here.
Yeah.
I think bombardment needs to be higher because there are ways that you can buff your crawlers. Like 6s get 2 hits instead of 1 if you've got the Osa factor, and then like
I don't know.
Throw
Actually,
everything
I just agree
into
with
the
that.
unit that's already damaged.
Which one is it? Which one are you talking about?
You have to kill a unit with your catapult. My problem is that they're so swingy.
Yeah, they're so
Like,
swingy. It's
you're
not like the old catapult.
attacks, you're not doing their attacks to kill something. You're doing their attacks to debuff them.
Yeah, to fight last. Yep, that's what I'm using it
Yeah.
for. Let's not say Sculptor's Entourage potentially good as a turn one. Let's see, what was that?
Having a Mortis and a
Sure, sure.
Mortison. I like if you build into that. Hey, if you have a single Mortis, like that's
You
kind
gotta
of like a free one.
you gotta be careful about the movement, but yeah, if you can get him in there, then yeah, that's a good turn one. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. The other thing is, depending on the Mortison, I don't know if I want to put all of my stuff up there. The guard I would for sure.
Guard is so good.
The Mortison I want to make sure I keep protected a little bit though. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments on the battle tactics?
Trample's the best.
Agreed. Cool. I did unfilling recursion. Why would I call that one bad?
Because you have to return to 3 different
Yeah,
units.
it's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
I just think
bad.
it's not like it's a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
If you have some more tech guard and they've been fighting and 3 of them are dead, or 3 of them are wounded, then yeah, but it's such a what if scenario.
But
Yeah.
it only counts if you're using the command ability.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So and then you also need to have 3 command points.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's
It's
such a
not good.
what if ability.
It's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
It's just to roll the dice and use a bunch of command points, so it's a CP suck.
All right, so
It's a hefty battle tactic.
battalions. This is bad. I don't. I think this is bad in this. I don't know. I don't like this core battalion. Here's my thing with this core battalion. I do think that this will probably be the new way the battle regiment works, where you have to be within 6 inches with 2 or 3 units in the battle regiment. I think that's
I
probably
absolutely love it.
That's probably where they're going. I feel like I'm taking just the normal one. In this current meta, why am I not taking just a battle regiment?
Battle Regiment doesn't have the same restrictions that this one does. So
You want 2 catapults and a Gothazar?
Okay,
No.
sure.
no,
sure.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
If you want to
taking
do
a
a
one
double
drop.
Gothazar list, then yeah.
I'm taking a battle regiment instead of this. And now that being said, if this gets changed, if the battle regiment gets changed, and this is more appropriate from the restriction side, then sure, I'll take this. But in the current state of the game, I'm taking a battle regiment. I'm taking this. I'm also a big fan of using harbingers, and you can't use these for reserve units, so that screws that. So, yeah, I'm gonna take my battle regiment.
You can still use harbingers in this one.
No, you can't,
Why? They're a troop.
because they have to be set up within 6 inches of another
Oh.
unit. So they're not set up on the board. You can't use them for reserve units.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Definitely not D tier. I don't know, man.
I agree with that. Like that. Like I see use.
I'd give it a C minus. I would
All
give
right,
it a
I'll
C
make the
minus.
community happy and do a C minus. But
Like
It's
if
not
you're
good.
doing double catapult or double
sure.
harvester, then like
Sure.
this is a 1-drop.
If you're gonna use if you're gonna fill out that roster, then yes, I will give it to you.
It's a
That's fine.
trade-off.
Yeah.
You can put more stuff in a 1-drop, but you got to be closer together.
Sure.
So
You know what? You
it's-
know what the best part about it is too? It's free. I don't have to take it.
Yeah, sure.
It's
Alright,
just
well-
another thing in my belt to use.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. There's the last 2 books didn't even get battalion, so sure. All right, moving on. Okay, let's get into the Hero Warscrolls. I didn't really see how they set up the book, as far as like a lot of times you can tell kind of, oh, they did vampires first, and then they did Death Rattle or something like that. This book is just kind of a smorgasbord. I don't understand how they kind of set up these war scrolls in the book, but it's fine. So I just did heroes and not heroes.
That sounds about right.
So
Okay.
let's go to this. And I'm gonna say it right now, Catacross, my boy, what a glow up! This dude is fantastic. This dude is gonna be in so many more lists now.
He's beautiful. He's brilliant. He's powerful. He helps every army instead of just Praetorians now.
Yep.
He's just so good.
He is absolutely
he doesn't have
fantastic.
a stupid little damage table anymore.
Where you have to figure out who's dead and then what attacks they have.
Oh god, that was so bad. And some
terrible.
of them have Natarite and some of them
Oh,
don't.
it was so bad. It was so bad. It took me like 10 minutes to get through like one combat because I'm like, wait, hold on.
And then at the same time, they still made it so you can do at his bottom bracket when he's needed.
I just want to go through that real quick. My favorite ability on this is definitely do nothing. This one is mine because if this isn't like Catacross in a nutshell, I don't know what is. He's basically like, look, guys, you guys stand over there. Let me do the work. And you get to use his bottom bracket, and Catacross goes to town, and that's just the way he should be used. I love his Warscroll. I just love it.
Absolutely. Flavor-wise, lore-wise, Catacross is like one of my favorite people.
And he's a beast, man. Like, you have to watch out for this guy. He's gonna be a problem.
And another thing is I love the insubordination of his people because he goes, as I said, this one's mine, and only 3 of them go back. There's only 3 attacks.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, okay, all right, boss. We'll let you fight.
Yeah, that's why I love
gonna
it.
Stab here.
Yep, that's why I love it. Because those 3 get like the 1 attack, and it's like you guys just stay. But then Catacross gets the 10. It's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, I did not have him in any of my OBR lists before the new book, and he's now in my list.
He's great, fantastic. S tier.
He's so good.
The other one that I want to talk about, obviously, Archon is still good. He still doesn't want to be in combat. His combat profile still sucks, but he is good. He still knows all of the lore. He knows the 3 spells. He's a good caster, Unbinder. He still has his Curse of Years, which I still think is terrible. Me and Camaron will always disagree on that, but I think it's terrible.
And you can be wrong. It's okay.
I know. I'd rather just do Arcane Bolt. I just am so bad at rolling, and that's just the reason why I won't take it. The one that I want to talk about, though, is Arch Cavalo Santos. This guy,
massive glow up. Holy
Jesus,
cow.
this guy is so much better now. Oh my goodness. He hits like a truck now. He's got the free command point that he can give to anyone,
including himself.
Yep, and it's fantastic. And then what was the he gets the +1 to wound to Mortis
Praetorian +1 to wound. You team him up with Catacross. Look at that. You have this massive aura, +1 to hit, wound, and save.
Yeah, fantastic. This guy got such a glow up. Such a glow up.
What? You didn't think Catacross was scary enough? Well, now he hits on 2s, wounds on 2s, has a 2-up save, and you still get to use a command point to go ahead and give him more attacks or
rend
or more rend.
Like, it's just crazy. It's so good. So good.
Horrifying.
Another reason why Mortis Praetorians for the win.
Yeah, exactly. Just buff him up and then go, oh, hey, I'm going to charge you during your turn.
I like Xantos a lot. I put him in most of my lists for sure. I just think he's so good.
I do also have to say, because in Mortis Praetorians he's treated as a general, you'll get that extra command point for having a general on the field, even if your actual general dies.
Yep.
Which is one of the reasons why I liked having that with Marathi.
It's
hilarious. Because you continue to get that command point.
I think in all of my Mortis Praetorian lists I'm going to take Catacross and Xantos, and so I'm always just going to have 3 generals on the field at all times.
Yeah, and I think they're all really good.
There is a too many cooks in the kitchen saying somewhere.
Yeah, true. That's a lot of points, but they're good though. Morshan's pretty good.
It's a lot of points to give a +1 to hit, wound, and save to my entire army.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Vote Morshan he's pretty good. His contract thing is very neat. It's a very cool ability. You have to use a command point to attack him, which is like if you get him into combat, the opponent has to use a command point to attack him. I think it's awesome. I think it's pretty cool. He's a cool little 2-caster that knows. I think he knows the entire lore. Yep, pretty good. And then the only other one left was the Ossiarch, which I think he's pretty good. He's a GC so I think he's going to be in some lists depending on what your list has. I think
He's gonna buff my crawler.
Sure, if you want to rely on that crawler, you go for it. More power to you.
I like
It's just
catapults. Okay.
You're gonna see them in harvester lists, not harvester lists, harbinger lists and catapult lists.
Yep.
More in the harbinger list than catapult.
Yep. Cool. Anything else on these guys? This is a great first page of Hero Warscrolls.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. These are not so good. The Soul Reaper is why. Look at how beautiful that model is.
It's
So
gorgeous.
beautiful.
And it's just it's garbage. It's literally garbage. It's by miles the worst Warscroll in the book. And it makes me sad inside because I really want to use him, but he's just bad. What else do we have in here? Yeah, Morrison Soul Mason, because he's on a stupid little mount chair thing, he can't be used as a GC, so rip that.
Which is so dumb. Like, why does sitting crisscross applesauce on a chair make you on a mount? Like, that just does.
That chair, I don't know. I couldn't think of anything.
Exactly. Come on now. It's not a mount.
Bone Shaper's he's good. He's a B. I marked him. He's not, I don't think he's A, but he's B tier. He's gonna help get things back. He's also a GC.
Healing is healing. Like,
Yep.
he's like he does exactly what the stamp says, and that's about it.
Yep. Soul Mason is we were talking about him. Leash Cavalos, great choice for a general. He's gonna do a lot of those command traits and artifacts for buffs.
So good. Like the lieges, I'm happy that they're going to be used a lot more. I really love the liege models.
And then the only other one that I wanted to talk about was Mirror. I can't pronounce that. Mirror Cannon?
Kanan?
Whatever. However you pronounce that.
Kanan.
Sure.
Kanan. I'll go with that one.
Whatever the wifey says.
I don't know.
So this guy, I want to mark him higher, but he's so expensive.
He's way too many points. Way too many points.
He is.
He's no business
Yeah, he is
that
a
many
lot
points.
of points.
But
Also,
I will say, if he gets into combat and you can start killing things with him, he gets scary. Like he can get pretty scary. He can scale pretty well. But I'm not taking him for his points. I'm just not. This book is way too expensive, and I just am not taking him.
Yeah.
Also, his ability makes me angry.
Why?
The bone tithe ability. All right.
Oh, the way it's worded.
The way it's worded, as well as like the reason behind it, I just don't understand why it's worded that way. It's you start at 0 points, and then you kill a model, you get 1 point for every model.
Right.
If it's a monster or whatever, you get 2 points or more. However, it doesn't matter at all if you kill monsters or heroes. All you need is 2 points. You don't get more points for having. You don't get more abilities for having more points.
Sure.
And so there's no reason to have. Oh, if you kill someone that's more, you get more points for it. It's like, oh man. Who cares?
I get it. I get what you're saying. I will say he's a freaking sweet looking model. Sucks.
Oh,
he is
beautiful model. His
But
ability
for
still
less
angers me.
points, I would rather take a liege.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
Sure.
Free command point.
Yeah. All right, moving on. All right. Okay, so Mortek Guard are still good. Their shield wall got changed. It's no more the abusive thing that it once was. It's still good. It gives them basically ethereal, which is fantastic. The last thing in the spell says the range of the spell must be measured from the caster, even if the ability would allow you to measure it from elsewhere.
Yeah, but Archon makes it so it's 9 inches, so you can go ahead and say that person within 9 inches must attack me. And...
Oh, yeah, that's definitely an FAQ. You're just trying to game the system at that point. Come on, people. Come on, people. I get
funny,
it.
though.
I get it. Sure, I get what you're saying, but I would have never assumed that's the way that should have been used. But sure. It does need an FAQ, I guess. Otherwise, people abuse it. All right, anyway. Mortek Guard, get the ethereal. Immortus Guard got a glow up. They're fantastic. And they hit like a truck.
I don't like the Mortek Guard anymore.
I don't like Mortek Guard much either. I think they're expensive. They're still good for bodies.
They're still they're just slightly too expensive for my taste, and I find them only useful in 20 packs or more.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like,
They're definitely not what they used to be. I mean, you can still get them to a 3-up save just for basic infantry, right? 3-up, 6-up. So
I'm also sad the Hecatos went away.
I mean,
I kind of like the Heka.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I definitely think they got downgraded for sure, but they're still guard, whatever it is what it is.
Because I'm just thinking, like, all right, for 300 points, I think they might match like a slightly buffed Chaos Warriors. Like, it's just, I don't think they're doing that much damage out there.
They're not. I agree. I mean,
and they're too squishy. Unless you do Harvester and them, but then that's 300 points for 20 wounds, and it's just
in the current GHB, where really everything is centering around those small non-mounted heroes. I don't see why you would spend so many points for something that's not going to do that much work. It's not like you're going to be able to stick them on a point and just
sit there,
claim the ground, because it's not about infantry anymore.
I think we're also down on these guys too because Shield Wall was like so abusive.
Oh, Shield Wall was too powerful.
It was. We'll see how it goes. That's why I marked in the Cavalist Death Riders. Like, these will probably most likely be your basic battle line that a lot of people use, or they'll go to a different battle line depending on what they want to use, right?
Like Death Riders.
Like there's just Death Riders are so much better than the Mortek Guard.
Yeah. I have my, I don't know, man. I still don't think Death Riders hit very hard either.
So for 20
no, but
more
you
points,
get speed.
You get speed.
For 20
You're just
more
more
points,
versatile.
You get 5 more wounds, 6 more inches of speed, and let's see, probably the same. Let's see. Roughly the same number of attacks, a little bit more, but not as good, because of the mounts. And it's just like their shield wall ability is very meh, in my opinion, because it doesn't include the positive modifier, so you can't what is it? You can't do like all-out defense on it. You can't Mystic Shield them.
Yeah, but what you do with Mortek Guard, you got to use them the right way too, right? What you're doing with Mortek Guard, you're sending them into the most rend-heavy unit that they have, and you're going, okay, cool. Your rend doesn't affect me.
Yeah, and then it goes down to they're only good at 20 models
Sure.
or more.
Sure.
While a Death Rider is still good at 5 models.
Sure. I mean, I get it. I still think we're going to see more Tech Guard, though. I don't think they're going away. I think Death Riders will still be there. I'm taking Death Riders, don't get me wrong. I still just don't think they're... I don't think Death Riders are, like, so much better than Guard, though. I think they're better, but...
I think they're better.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, it's tough. I'll say this right now. In my competitive list, which probably isn't very competitive, I'm not taking either one. I'm not taking either one of these. I'm going Harbingers because I love Harbingers. But so that's what I'm taking, which aren't any better. But I like the way they look and they're cool. The only other thing I wanted to say in here was Crawler got changed quite a bit. I think it's a bit pricey, but I think Fight Last is real good. And then the other
has its uses. Like, yeah. I kind of like it, but it is pricey.
It's super expensive.
Would you rather have a Mortis Guard or a Crawler?
A Mortis Guard, 100%.
And that's where I'm at.
And Mortis Guard are fantastic. They're a hammer and anvil. They fight twice. Like, you're gonna see a ton of a Mortis Guard now. I think they are really, really good, and they protect your heroes that you want to keep alive. Like, I think a Mortis Guard are extremely good. I would definitely go with Mortis Guard.
Yeah,
I think you should take both.
Sure.
Why choose one when you can have both?
Okay, great.
Why choose Crawler when I could have 2 Guard?
Yeah.
No, I like my catapult. I want to
they're-
chuck things at people.
Yeah, they're too cheap for their points right now. When they inevitably go up points, because that's what's going to happen, then I'll think about the crawler.
I will say, let's not. Immortus Guard seem insane. Yes, I agree. They are super good. They literally do everything you want them to do. Like, you want them to be an anvil? Great. You want them to be a hammer? Great. You want them to protect your heroes? Great. Like, they're real good.
Yeah, they have a job and they do it fantastically well.
Going here. Harvester's the same old Harvester, except it got increased to 6 inches for some reason. I don't know why. But sure.
Thank goodness, because if you're hoarding around that thing with a bunch of Mortec, you need the extra space. 3 inches was a bit.
Yeah, it was
small.
very small.
It was, but it was still useful. I didn't know if they needed to change it to 6, but whatever, it's fine.
It's because those
not
guards
the
are going to die a
movement
lot
difference.
faster now.
Yeah. And the movement difference between them meant that you were handicapping one of your units because you couldn't move everything together to get the 3 inches.
Sure.
I like
sure.
that it's 6, for sure.
Sure, that's fine. You're going to use it in certain lists. Again, if you're not going heavy Mortec guard, you're not going to use this. So, and then I did want to say, let's not. The reason that they are more or less points than stalkers is because stalkers were abused in the last battletome, so I think that's why they were higher.
They had
points.
that recoil. That's why.
But that being said, and bounty hunters, that was also another reason. But that being said, I think we will see an increase to the Mortis Guard points for sure. Harbingers are marked as a B. I want them to be better than they are, but I know they're not that good. Deep Strike is great, but it can be a trap. Boy, it's going to really suck when you put those elite units 9 inches away, roll that charge, try to re-roll it, and then fail it, and then they jump back into you, and
watch
they
every
die.
single time, and I'm going to laugh, and then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all 12 of those wounds that you have.
Yeah, makes me real sad. That being said, I'm probably just not gonna. I mean, they move pretty quick. I don't even know if I'd drop them. I just want to use them. I think Archive are actually better now, which I don't have any, which sucks. But whatever. Not being able to use Inspiring Presence. Oh no, it's not even Inspiring Presence. Can't receive commands while they're within 3 inches. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
good. It's I don't think they have enough wounds for it. Like, it's only 12 wounds for how many points?
Yeah, but there's ways to increase that, right?
Can't increase your wounds.
No, but you can increase your save pretty far up there.
It's 240 points for 12 wounds at a 4-up save. What are you're going to get it to a 3-up save?
I mean, they do a lot of damage and they move fast. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can make them work. I'm gonna try to make them work.
You're going to get shot with one set of archers, and then you're going to lose 240 points.
I mean, sure.
It's very elite. It can be done. It can work. It's just be careful
of putting too many things in one basket.
Now, that being said, I will say this. If you drop them and you get a 9-inch charge, they're striking first, and they will kill whatever they get into.
Oh, they are going to hurt.
Like, they're going to do some damage. You get these things to -3 rend, 3 damage apiece. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to try to make them work. I love Harbingers. They're my favorite. They're my favorite model in the army, followed closely by Catagras. I just think Harbingers are just so cool.
I like them. Don't think they're worth it.
Yeah, sure. Maybe they'll get a decrease in points because no one takes them. Would you take them at 220?
If I was going to take them, I'd take one reinforced unit of them.
Okay, fair. Totally fair. So 4 of them?
And
Okay.
only if they're battle lines, so I'd take Archon as well.
Okay. Okay. I'm with you on that.
They would be my hitters that I would send out to hit specific targets. I would never put it up in space, though.
No, I know. It's a trap. It's definitely a trap. There's not good ways to increase your charge in this army.
Yeah,
So
and you also lose all your buffs that you can get to them from the Ossifier.
Yeah. Now, what you could do, you could drop them in a way, if you were in like Mortis Praetorians, right? You could drop them in a way where the screen is in front of you, and have you, because do they get fly, right? So if they fail that, and then they charge something else, you could charge them in the enemy charge phase. So you have a kind of a backup if you played it correctly.
Yeah, like I think again one of the like they're supposed to be used in Petrifix, but I think Mortis Praetorian like.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm using. I see the reason why you wouldn't use them in Mortison and Praetorians, but I'm still using Praetorians for these guys because I think that counter charge works really well for these guys.
Especially if you get that 8+. Ooh.
Oh, I know.
Your opponent's going to be so sad.
Yep. All right, and that's the book. Those are all the Warscrolls, right? That's it.
Okay, hold on. Can we talk about these Reapers?
All right.
Because you scored those too high.
I actually have not seen these Reapers. Let me see them.
Okay, so first off,
oh man,
the complaint that we had about Arcanaut Company having everything have a different weapon and it takes way too long.
God.
These guys all have it, and they don't even call it this person's name apostrophe weapon. You literally have to go through and match up which one has what. Ridiculous. And
thanks, let's not.
They're 250 points.
So so hold on. Let me explain some things. First off, if you take the Reapers, you have to take Mirkanon with them.
Uh-huh.
So you get both of them.
Not making that any better.
Sure. And so a lot of these Underworld warbands are going to be in every book. You're going to get one for Seraphon too, right?
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be there. I'm saying they deserve a C+ at best.
Okay, I'll do it for you. So
I'm just saying.
So
you gave them anywhere in the B is not okay.
Disagree with your wife. You just do it.
That's the way it is. I think that these guys are absolutely amazing. If you're taking, what's his name, Mirkaneth.
Yeah.
Mirkaneth.
Yeah.
The problem is I'm never taking them.
Sure. All right, moving on. All right, let's go into allies. All right, so
that was good.
I'm gonna make my comment on Nagash. I actually think he is useful in this army. A lot of the spells, so like we were talking about last week, where I did not think he was very good in Soulblight because I don't think you could get a lot of spells off. In this book, I disagree. I think you can get most of these spells off. There might be 2 of them that you might not get off, but you can counter that with an endless spell because the endless spells are very good in this book.
The problem is that he can't use the endless spells.
Oh,
he's not a Soul Reaper.
Sure. He can't. He can't
use the great spells that are in the book.
Sure, but he can still use other ones. You can use other endless spells. What I'm saying, the justification I'm making for Nagash, is that he can reliably cast multiple spells, unlike Soulblight. If you look at a lot of the spells in this book, they are not range gated to where Nagash can't use them. So I think he can actually be used in this army. I know he's too expensive, but
my problem is that you can take Archon and get almost everything you need to be able to. You have that pluses to cast. You can actually cast the endless spells. You get plus to the range. You're like 1/3 the price. And you still get the healing capability.
Nagash also can hit in combat. Arcan can't.
That's why those extra points that you spent.
Something for damage, sure.
You take a Catacross, and now you have +1 to save.
Again, am I saying that taking Nagash is going to make him competitive in this game? No. What I'm saying is I think he is more viable in this army than he was previously in Soulblight. I think he is more useful in this army than previously. Not to mention,
I wouldn't put him at a B+, but you can play him and not be crying.
Sure. And then also, since your army is so elite, getting those heals off with him is even more reliable. And any heal you get from this book is going to be significantly more greater value than you would in Soulblight. Because I mean, again, this is an elite army, and you want to those wounds matter, right? Because you're not going to get a lot of them in these lists. So, the other two I have is Mega Gargant and Kronspine. They're the same as they are in most books. They're distraction and speed bump. So,
Yeah.
I think they're both useful in here. You can use them if you want. The problem is, again, your army costs a lot of points, so you have to be very
I
careful.
can see Kronspine being used. I don't see Mega Gargant being used.
Sure. He gives you some. Wound count. That's it. Like that's really it. Yeah.
At the same time, though, if you're depending on where you are and how close everything is to some of the objectives, I mean, you take a Mega Gargant and it dies, it could fall on you and then squish, and you can't bring all those back.
Sure.
I wouldn't put a Gargant in.
Sure. I mean, again,
Yeah.
it's marked as a B. Get B, a B minus. It's okay, right? You can take it. It's okay. All right. Bone-Tied Nexus. Oh my gosh. All right, let's talk about this. So, oh boy, give me -6 to charge, please. Please, please, please. You take Divisionary Tactics and you do this on a unit, they're -6 to charge. Oh boy, that is pretty good. It's pretty good. You're 3 inches from me, you need a 9-inch charge to get in. Like, I know you need a 4-up for Lethargy, Lethargy or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, you redeploy? Yeah, you're not getting in. The
only thing that doesn't make an S tier is you have to have a 4-up, and that kind of
Yes, you have to have 4. Now that being said, there's obviously other ones you can use as well, but
they're all 4-ups.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
everything is a 4-up.
The problem is that you would never be able to reliably. I can't make my battle plan based off of this.
Correct.
Sure. I mean,
it's a nice bonus. Again, it's free, but I would never be able. I can't build my army around this.
Sure.
While like before, you can do stuff with like the old Seraphon.
I'll mark it as an A plus. No, maybe not S, but because of the 4-up, I totally get what you're saying. But boy, this changes the game if you get these off. Like that Lethargy is really good.
It's real good, especially with that
Command trait.
It's a command trait that everyone's going to take.
Yeah. It's pretty good. -6 charge is pretty good. All right, cool.
I do also think the range is not all that great.
Oh yeah.
It does kind of force you to keep.
What's the range of it?
18 now.
18 inches now.
Used to be some of them were like 36 inches.
Yeah, it used to have a lot wider range. So I do think that is a drawback because you're going to have to really keep your army around the bubble that you have.
Here's the thing though, is you can put this, well, depending on what room you have, put this thing as far up as possible, right? Get this thing as far up as possible.
And with it being impassable, I love that it's impassable. It makes it so you can make it so annoying for your opposing player.
I hope that part gets FAQ'd, because here's the problem with that, right? You put a little foot hero and you corner this thing in somewhere. That's just MPE. Like, no one wants to play like that. Like, can we not do that? Because you're not going to be able to get things. Like, depending on where you put this and where you place it on the table, like, you can make a real bad time for someone if they want to try to kill it.
Placement is going to be key with this, because 18 inches is not all that much.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's still good, though. I still want the Lethargy to go off so I can get my 6 charge. That's what I want to do. It's going to be like my achievement in a game. All right. Endless spells. Oh my god, these are all so good.
All the endless spells are good.
Oh, these are so good.
And they're all so cheap.
Yes, I don't know how these got
nothing's
past.
Over 50 points. Are you kidding me?
I don't know how these got past. So Nightmare Predator. This is the one that does damage.
This Nightmare Predator is so good. I love it.
It's good. It does. It's basically just damage, right? That's all it does. The D3.
Everything that you move across
Yeah.
on a 2-up does D3.
Sure.
And then you can also do an additional,
depending on what you roll.
additional D3 to D6 damage.
Sure.
On a 1, it does nothing, but
sure.
all spells are like that.
Yeah, for 40 points, fantastic.
So for 40 points, you can potentially do D3 plus D6 to someone.
Sure.
More often than not, doing 2D3.
The downside with this is it's 5 cast, right? So anyone's gonna unbind this. So.
Well, yeah, but that's also the upside. It's so easy to cast.
Yeah, but you want things that are high casting because most of your stuff is plus cast.
And not
Archon.
my Mortison.
Okay, sure, you're Mortison. Great.
I'm not going to cast it.
Archon.
Archon has other spells you can do.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Also, Archon has a +6 inch, so I could put this directly right in front of my opponent's army.
Sure.
And then move across it.
Don't get me wrong, it's a great damage spell, but honestly, I'm taking one of the other two for 40 50 points. Soulstealer Carrion. The reason that this is extremely good is because you are an elite army, you don't have a lot of bodies that sit on points. So being able to cast this on something where they can't take it with 1 to 2 wounds is fantastic. It's exactly what this army needs so they can control points. Because they don't have a lot of bodies.
I feel like this endless spell is 1 GHB too late.
Right. Oh,
I'm just saying, this is like a day late and $1 short.
I mean, I still think in the current meta it's fine against square
I think
hoppers.
it's good. I would rather have the old one.
Sure. I think this is super good, and I think it's very good in this army with the way it plays. Because you're going to struggle to gain points because of bodies, and I think this is a good way to get rid of that. But the winner for me is no doubt the Bone Tie Shrieker, because holy crap, for 50 points, this thing is very good. No rally or inspiring presence, and it would be good just at that. But the fact that
you get 2.
Yeah,
it's a twofer.
It's a twofer. You get -1 to ward rolls. Pretty good. You put this against
What's
Nurgle.
Its range? Its
Nurgle.
range is 12 inches.
12 inches. Yeah.
Which
not
is
terrible.
It's not great. However,
12 plus
use
8.
Archon.
Right? 12 plus 8.
Make it to 18.
Sure.
And it also moves. Never mind.
Yeah. 12 plus 8. Yeah, 20 inches. Yeah. This thing's fantastic. The -1. There's so many things in today's game that have ward rolls or ward saves. So
you get 2 abilities for 10 more points than the other ones.
Yeah, I think it's good. And no rally or inspiring presence is pretty good.
Yeah,
I like it. Definitely like it. It's definitely my go-to.
The no rally would there's some armies that's gonna hurt.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the radius on that effect? Let's see.
12 inches.
12 inches. Woo.
So it's still 12.
So
you
what,
can
32
still make
inches?
it to 18.
32-inch threat there for inspiring presence. Yeah, pretty good. All right, so in the spells, these are just generic ones.
Why is Horgas so high?
Because you don't take Battle Shock.
Yeah.
I mean,
isn't that just the Bone Tie Shrieker?
Sure. Sure. So I guess
why would I ever take the Horgas?
No, that's good. That's I'm gonna put this as D and just say take OBRs instead.
Yeah, like
no, you're right.
Points, that's more.
100%. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm thinking. That's why I say the stupid thing is so good comparatively to the Horgas, right? No, yeah, you're 100% right. All right, moving on. Ravanax is just good, just because it's Ravanax. Still good with the current GHP. You can kill a lot of things with it. Any other ones you take here? Maybe Purple Sun. You already get a ton of Rend, but just 90 points. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
All right. Okay, moving on. Soulscream Bridge could potentially be good to get some Mortek Guard out or something. Could be decent.
The problem is, if you're using Mortek Guard, you want to have the Harvester nearby.
Sure. I'm just saying it's a good way to maybe get...
I just take the
OBR and more discard.
Yeah.
And more discard. Get those across
Umbral
the table.
Spell Portal if you want to cast it and then throw in that Death Shrieker. But that's case, just do Archon and put it right in front of them in the first place.
Or take Nagash, and then use Umbrella Spell Portal and do his hand thing.
That's fair. And if you take Archon at the same time, one, you won't have an army, and you can do his Death Hand at 9 inches away.
I mean, Nagash is...
You will have Nagash, you will have Archon, and you will have an
great.
Umbral Spell Portal.
And
Good
have
job.
literally have nothing else. I will say...
You'll have a little pack of useless Mortec.
Yeah, I do. You can have those guards.
I do think there's going to be play in that Nagash Umbral Spell Portal hand thing. 50-50 shot to kill any unit is pretty good. Or any
it's always good. It's just you're not going to have an army.
Yeah, no, I know. I gotcha. Wait till you guys get to my
You might as
list.
well take giants.
Okay, sure, great. All right, moving on.
Just saying.
All right, let's go to Camaron's list. So this is new for our reviews. I thought we would put an example list so people can get an idea of kind of what we think are decent lists or Mimi lists. Like mine's definitely a Mimi list. It's not competitive, but it's Mimi. So this is Camaron's list. Camaron, you want to just walk us through this one real quick?
All right, this entire list is to have a castle in the very center with Catacros, Xantos, and then the 2 Bone Shapers.
Yep.
And then have it as well as the Mortis Guard, one on each side. Those Mortis Guards going to make so all your heroes just aren't going to die. And then you just buff everything up. You use the Death Riders as a screen to be able to, if they charge me, I'm going to charge them with one of the many things in this.
Yep.
Or you go ahead, if it's your turn and your enemy's close enough, you just go ahead and charge with 5 of the riders here. You do a crap ton of mortal wounds, and then everything is going to be hitting on like 2s, 3s. 2s, 3s to 2s, 2s.
Yep.
And yeah, that's all you need.
I actually like this list a lot. I think this is a I think it's a very competitive list too. I think you could make this work.
This is what I would take in a. This maybe a little bit of changing, but this is what I would take in a tournament. Oh, you also have the Nightmare Predator just for some mortal wound spells because you have 2 casters.
And this is one of those times where the grand strategy of the scales balance does work for this. This is very good for this one because you do have so many units that you
have so much units, so much healing. Just
this is a good list. I do like this list. It's a very good list.
And if you're not going to kill a unit, I'm just going to bring it all the way back because I have 3 to 4 chances to heal in every single turn.
Yep. All right, Erica, yours is relatively the same.
Similar, but I have
to
have my crawler.
Yeah, she had to get a crawler in there.
I did. I had to get a crawler in. I'm also exactly 2,000 points, and I also still did scales balanced. For me, I wanted to take the Ospector so that I could use that as my general.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also had 4 Death Rider units in there and a unit of guard to help protect. But I have to have my crawler.
This is okay.
We can just disagree on its usefulness.
Yeah, I do think the protection of Nagash on the Ospector could be decent as long as he survives the combat. I mean, it's good to get him out of the way. So that's actually pretty cool. It's a pretty cool teleport out of there. Yeah, this is good.
Also, I was telling Erica this last time we were gaming this Thursday, is that there with the crawler there is a little bit of techiness you can do. You can actually still use the Mortec crawler to shoot like hell if you position it correctly. And that way, if someone charges you, they can be both outside of 6 inches and within 6 inches. So you can shoot with the crawler, and so they charge you, and then you force them to have strike last.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's some gimmicky stuff you can do with the Mortec crawler.
It's very gimmicky and techy, but it is possible, and it will make your opponent not feel good.
Keep in mind, you have to get that 5 up.
But I still think the buff where you get 2 hits on 6s, you get exploding 6s, but you get it on the missile weapons, which is fantastic. Like, getting it for the rest of the army's melee is one thing, but getting it for missile weapons is up my alley.
And they'll get the strike last on a 3-up because I only hit 1 person.
Oh, right. You're right. It is a 3-up if you focus on one thing. Yes, you're right. You're correct. But I like taking the 2d6 shots and just spreading it and just seeing what happens.
Oh yeah. See what sticks and like, all right, you're who I'm charging.
You'll get 3. You'll get 3. You'll get 3. Like, just see what.
Well, and if you focus everything into one spot and buff, then you could technically go for bombardment as a battle tactic.
Garbage.
Especially if something's already wounded. I'm just saying.
Sure. I mean, sure.
All right, there's a chance.
There's a chance. I'll give you that. There's
it's not a high chance, but it's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. All right, so moving on. So this is my meme list, okay? This is real bad. This is not great. All right, it's not competitive, but I want to run this just because I want to have fun with it.
All right, Mortec Guard, Harvester. All right, dash.
So this is basically what you're doing here is you're doing crematorians, and you're saying you're using a gash, and you're just sending everything up, and you're saying kill me, and you're spending. You don't care if your dudes die, so you're never gonna use shield wall. You're never gonna use anything that you won't use all that defense. You're just gonna use your rend, anything that buffs up your Mortec Guard to get damage out. And between the Harvester, the Bone Shaper, and the Gash, you're just resurrecting these guys back up. And you're just...
All you're doing is resurrecting and...
Yep.
I think it'd be a very fun list to watch.
Yes. I do not think this is not competitive. But... You guys already took a lot of the competitive stuff in the previous list, so I wanted to do something a little different. And this is very different. I think this... I want to play this just because I want to see how far you can take it. But I think this has a little bit of play to it. Again, I don't think it's not going to win a GT, right? But I think it would be fun to play. I think this would be a fun.
We need to take the Nagash that we have that plays music, and we need to put "I Want You Back" on there.
Yeah, sure.
So whenever you just hit the little button.
But yeah, so that's my list. Again, it's just very memey. Just see what happens. But I do want to play this against someone and just kind of play it, see what happens.
Play it against
your Mortec Guard versus my horses.
I'm not gonna play anything against your dog list. There's no reason to. All right, so summary. I'll do mine first, and then you guys can go over your summary. So I do think we're as I create these lists, right? I do feel like we may be lacking one unit in the army lists. I do think these points, and I'm pulling this a little bit from Warhammer Weekly because I do agree with them. I think all these points are just a little too high. I think if we lowered some of these to get just one more unit in the army, I think that's where they need to be. I think they're lacking on units, like holistic units, just a little bit. So I do think they're a little overpriced. I also think because the lack of Warscrolls and the expensive nature of this book, I think there's not going to be a big variety of lists. I think they're going to be very, like we were saying earlier, very spike, very meta-driven lists. I think you're going to see maybe one or two of them. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of variation with the lists.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I don't think there's going to be a lot of variations. It's going to be, this is what's good, and... that's about it. Like I don't see people playing that warband, that Warcry guy, Mir Kanine or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Like he's just never going to be taken.
I definitely see now that we've gotten rid of the stupid RDP thing. I think this will go up in the meta. I think this can go 5-0. I think you're gonna get kind of lucky, but I do think this can go 5-0. Army will start strong and start to dissipate as the game goes on. We'll have to manage command points well. So obviously, as you can
especially as you lose units.
Yeah, and
it is not new player friendly, but it has the capability of just doing so
you're
much.
gonna feel like you're on the top at the very beginning of the game, and as the game goes on, it's gonna hurt more and more as you get through the turns. So you got to be real careful. And then it's kind of what we mentioned earlier. I think this book's really slow. I think if you know this army very, very well, you can master it and get your time up, but I think in general, you're gonna struggle to get through 5 turns in this. I think because of just the amount of decisions you have to make. So that's my summary. What are your guys' thoughts? Anything I'm missing?
I would agree with the slowness, but I think if you do a really good job with your AOS reminders and maybe modify those a little bit so that you're prioritizing battle tactics, you'll be able to get through some of the hero phase stuff faster. I don't know. There's a lot with command points. There's a lot that you need to, like, you can't just roll in with this army and say, I'm going to try this out today.
Right.
It's going to take a little.
Not at all.
Right. I agree. Cameron?
High skill army. I think it rewards someone for remembering and being able to be a tactician, just like it actually wants you to be, and it rewards you very well for doing it.
Yeah, agreed. If you want to play an elite army and you want to play that playstyle, this is the army for you. Like, this is just the way they play, so which is really cool.
It's very good for someone who takes copious notes.
Sure. And is good at making decisions. So not me.
Yeah, nobody ask him what he wants for dinner.
Yeah. All right.
Decisions will not be made.
So that's it. That's the book. That's all we got. Coming up next week is obviously the Seraphon book. I think we're all, at least here in this house, we're pretty excited about it. Hopefully it's not, I want to say hopefully it's not egregious like the old book, but looking at some of the stuff already, it's like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's going to be some more NP garbage, and no one's going to want to play Seraphon, but we'll see what happens.
Want to play against it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No one's going to want to play against it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be, I'm hoping that they don't rewrite history and go right back to the way things are currently.
We shall see. All I know is I am thanking my lucky stars that fine cast models are being replaced because awful.
Yep, I agree with that. Fair. I do agree with that.
It's time. It's past time.
So yeah, so look forward to that next week. Again, please, if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, follow, comment. I've gotten some good comments lately, so I'm looking at those. Just trying to get this community to grow up a little bit. So definitely let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the YouTubes. That's all I got. So we will talk to you guys next Tuesday.
I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.